Hello world and welcome back to another Mekanism tutorial. Today we're going to be talking all about lasers as well as all of the mecha things that you can have inside of Mekanism. As always, if this video helps you out in any way, shape or form, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, it really helps me out, and ring the bell button for more tutorials in the future. So first things first, I know we covered this slightly in the fusion reactor video, however we're going to go over again how you make these basic components, starting off with the laser. The laser is crafted with 2 energy tablets, 3 reinforced alloys, 1 steel casing and 1 diamond, and this will get you 1 laser. As well as that, we are going to need ourselves some laser amplifiers. This is going to require 1 basic energy cube, 1 diamond and 7 steel ingots, and this is going to get you just 1 laser amplifier. And the last thing we're going to show off today is this laser tractor beam. We didn't show this off last time, but the laser tractor beam requires 1 laser and a personal chest. So here we have the laser. The laser itself just sends this beam of energy, and it has to always be powered the opposite side of where the laser is pointing, and it will fire a beam about 32 blocks away, as you can see over here. Now this laser doesn't do too much by itself besides really break blocks. If we place some cobblestone down in front of it, as you can see, it will start breaking through these blocks and it will actually start dropping the items down, except from the very first one for whatever reason. If you let it charge up and then just place it down, the first one for some reason doesn't always drop, and I don't know why, as we saw there just a moment ago, but as you can see, it will just break the blocks and drop them where they stand. Next we have is the laser amplifier. Now the laser amplifier, it does exactly what it says in the tin. It amplifies the other lasers. So you can point a maximum of 5 different lasers, they all must be powered, into the laser amplifier, and it will send out this big tractor beam going the same distance, 32 blocks, but it will be a little bit more powerful. Now the laser amplifier does actually have an internal interface. You can set it on a delay, you can say only output a certain amount of FE, or you could set it maximum. Now the maximum it can hold by default is 2 GFE. As you can see, it's not actually storing anything because it's constantly pushing it out. But if we now type in here, say 10, it will now be just 10 FE. If we go to whatever this number is, it goes to 1 FE apparently. But then you can also set the minimum, saying that the minimum must be in here 600 FE, that's the minimum it can shoot out. And then you can also set a delay of, let's say, I believe this works in ticks and not seconds. Yes, delay in ticks. See, it will give a 10-second tick and then it will fire out its beam. And this guy is about to get burned. If they walk inside these laser beams, they do actually hurt you. So be very careful, you will die very quickly. Sorry, Mr. Wandering Trader. Now that is not all that you can do. You can actually set laser amplifiers to go into another laser amplifier. So this is probably the quickest and strongest beam you'll probably get, and we'll show a comparison here in a moment. But here we have got 5 different laser amplifiers that I've got 5 lasers each going into them, and then going into just 1 down here, as you can see. Now it's got the same interface because it's just constantly going. If I actually turn this off and put it onto redstone here, just to ignore the redstone, sorry, normal, there you go. Now it's actually going to stall that energy up, and as you can see, it grows rather rapidly. The moment we actually take this off and put it back to normal ignored, it will just blast it all out in 1 hit. But you can already set this with interfacing with redstone, and if you wanted to, you could let it charge up and say, right, go, hit a button, and it will release all the energy out at once. But now, just for comparison, let's show you how this works. If I just take the 1 laser, we know how fast it goes, not too long. Now with 5 lasers, it's a little bit quicker, and with 5 amplifiers, it's instant. You could just mine anything here. It's very good to set up for some sort of farm. Now the last block we're going to show off is using the exact same setup. As you can see here, we've got the 5 amplifiers going into 1 amplifier, but this is where we're going to use ourselves the tractor beam. The tractor beam is essentially a laser, but it's going to pick up all of the blocks that actually breaks in front of it. So if I put cobblestone in here now, you can see that no items were dropped, but they went inside the tractor beam. So if we put this here now, you can see everything is just going straight into the tractor beam. So you need to have a side open on this to actually take the items out, but obviously we can do that with the logistics system. Now, just in case you're all wondering, we have obsidian here. Let's just see how strong and quick obsidian takes to break when you have 5 amplifiers going into 1 amplifier. Barely 2 seconds. Barely 2 seconds. So it's pretty good for an obsidian farm of some sort. The last sort of farm you probably could do is by doing a bit of a chicken farm like this, because they will die very quickly if anything actually spawned. I have the worst luck. There you go, that's a little bit better luck now. How about we now move into all the different type of mecha utilities that you can get inside of Mekanism. But before we do that, we need to go into how we make some basically plastic. HDPE Sheets is basically what we need, which stands for high density polyethylene for anyone who is interested. Now, we've shown how to make substrate before. This is how you get your HDPE pellets. Now, substrate you first make with the little bit of biofuel. We covered this in a previous tutorial, and you put that in the pressurized reaction chamber. In here, you are going to need hydrogen and water, and then you'll take your biofuel, throw it in here, and it will start crafting, and it will make ourselves some substrate as well as some ethylene. As you can see, it's not crafting here because you actually need two of them, two fuel to get one substrate, and this will make a little bit of ethylene and substrate. Now, before you actually turn your substrate into HDPE pellets, what you can do is actually, I don't even know what you call it, 8 times your substrate. So if you take your substrate now and take your ethylene and some water and put a substrate in here, it will then actually craft into 8 different substrates in total. Now, it takes a little bit of time, we don't have any upgrades in here, but eventually this will make 8 substrate. And there we go, we made 8 substrate and a little bit of oxygen. Now, with your substrate to make HDE pellets, you're going to need oxygen inside here and liquid ethylene. Now, to make liquid ethylene, you're going to need a concentrator and turn the ethylene into liquid ethylene. Very simple, we've done it a million times before. And now you just take your HDE pellets, or you take your substrate, and that will instantly make HDE pellets inside the same reaction chamber. And this will also give you a little bit of oxygen, so you won't really lose anything here. Now, with your HDE pellets, what can you do? You can now make these sheets. It requires 8 in a circle to make sheets, but you only get 1 at a time. Now, you can also make HDE pellet rods, but these rods, they're only used for making sticks, and these sticks are only used for making the plastic gates and fences that you can get inside a Mekanism. Not exactly the most important thing in the world. So we're going to be using mostly the sheets today. Now, what sort of mecha tools do we actually have? Well, we have a MekaSuit, which requires obviously the helmet, the chest piece, the legs, and the boots. Then we also have the Meka-Tool. Now, you can't see actually in here. It doesn't render when you're inside in this mod pack apparently. But here we go. We have the Meka-Tool. It's very, very big and very, very powerful. It's sort of like an extension of your arm, basically. So let's go over how to craft all of these first. To go with the helmet, you are going to need a netherite helmet. All of the armors are going to require netherite tier armor first. So it's pretty late game stuff when it comes to Mekanism. You're going to need 4 HDPE sheets, 1 ultimate control circuit, and 2 of the polonium pellets that we showed how to make inside our fusion reactor video. As well as that, we're going to need a basic induction cell, which we know all about as well. Now, for this, you'll get an uncharged MekaSuit helmet. All of these will get you an uncharged version when you first craft it. Next, you're going to need the chest piece. This is made very, very similarly. All of these are very, very similar. You're going to need the 4 HDE pellets, the ultimate control circuits, 2 polonium pellets, and 1 basic induction cell, and the netherite chest piece, of course. Then for the legs, it's obviously the same, but using netherite leggings, and for the boots, it's the same again, but for the netherite boots, and of course you get the uncharged version. Now, to make the Meka-Tool itself, you're going to need to craft this a little bit differently. You're going to need 2 of your ultimate control circuits, only 2 HDPE pellets, 2 polonium pellets, 1 basic induction cell, 1 configurator. It doesn't have to be charged, but this one I have here is charged, and you're going to need the atomic disassembler, which we have covered previously, and this is going to give us our Meka-Tool. Now, the last thing you're going to want, you don't necessarily need right now, but the last thing you're going to want is the modification station. This is going to allow you to upgrade your tools and your armors very, very powerfully. Now, this is going to require 1 chest, 4 HDPE sheets, 1 polonium pellet, 2 ultimate control circuits, and a steel casing. Now, this is a 2-block modification station thing. It's very large in your hand. I don't know why, but it is. And now let's actually go on to what you do with these. So when it comes to all of these different types of tools, you can just charge them in any way you charge any other tool, and that is by putting them in some sort of energy cube. Here we're just using the creative energy cube, and as you can see, it will store up to 6.4 MFE in total. Each of these have the exact same storage. Now, I have charged all of these suits up. Now, if we place them on here, you can see that we have a little bit of a HUD now. On the bottom left, we see that we have the exact coordinates that we have in the world, as well as a little compass to see which way we're actually going to be going. And in the top left, you'll see a load of percentages. Now, these percentages, they are showing the power levels that are inside of our suit. Now, you only get this sort of HUD when you're wearing the helmet. If I take the helmet off, you don't see it anymore, and when I put the helmet back on, it will come back up. But as well as that, if I take, say, the boots away, the boots no longer show on the HUD. So they all sort of work in tandem together. Now, by itself, the suit's pretty good. Obviously, it works the same level as netherite armor. However, what is very cool about it is that when you ever take damage, whether it's fall damage or damage from an enemy, it's going to evenly distribute the damage taken to all of your armor pieces depending on what you're wearing. And also when you do take damage, you are not taking damage or durability taken away from your suit. It's actually just the electrical energy, and that's what the power is in the top left. That's what the percentage is and what you're gonna have to look out for, so you always know to keep the electricity up and going. As well as that, we have the Meka-Tool itself. It doesn't really do anything special as of right now. It pretty much just works in the same way as I would say, you know, an iron pick. Now I am in creative mode here, so let's change that over. Yeah, I'm now in survival. It works the same about as an iron pick, I would say, maybe a diamond when it's unenchanted, and it works pretty well against everything. It works for everything, so you don't have to worry about changing between tools. It obviously works on wood, stone, dirt, and it even works on obsidian. Now, obsidian takes a long time. As you can see here, the progression is going up, but obsidian does actually get collected when using the Meka-Tool, as you can see here. But now you actually want to know how we upgrade our stuff. This is where we're going to need our modification station. Now the modification station does take power, and you power it through the behind the computer where this green square is. Behind here we have ourselves just an energy cube powering this up. Now inside of here you will see an interface. You'll see all of our different armor types that we can see, and we can put these down here if we so want to. But at the moment we need some chips. Now these chips are basically going to be the upgrades that we can put inside of the suit. Some of them are dedicated to just one piece of armor, and some of them can go in absolutely everything, including the power tool itself, the Meka-Tool, if you wanted. So let's go over them now. Now for every single upgrade you are going to need a modular base. The modular base is the centerpiece of every single upgrade. For this you're going to need 4 tin around the corners, you're going to need 1 HDPE sheet in the center, and bronze nuggets on the side. Now we've covered bronze before, it was quite a while ago, so let's just refresh our memory. We are going to need ourselves some bronze, Mekanism bronze. The Mekanism bronze is created using Mekanism bronze dust. Now the bronze dust is created by putting copper inside of a metallurgic infuser full of tin. This will give us our 4 bronze dust, just to refresh your memory. Now the first thing that you can put into absolutely everything is the energy unit. For that you're going to need 1 modular base, 4 infused alloys, 3 HDPE sheets, and a basic induction cell, and this will give you just one of them. They come in stacks of 8 however, and let's show you how to actually put these modules on inside of our modification station. So as we can see inside here, this is what we're wearing. This is our one more spot where you can put our Meka-Tool. It's basically our offhand if you want to put it there, and then inside of here you want to take your helmet and then put a module into it, and it will now plug that into here. Now I've put the energy unit into here, and as you can see it's now doubled the amount of energy that we can put in here. Can we put in a second? We absolutely can. What is the maximum we can actually put in here? Now we have just put in 8 of these energy modules into our helmet. Let's see if we can put one more in. No, 8 is the maximum. As you can see, it says stackable to 8, but that's also the limit. And if you hold shift on these energy units, you can actually see where it goes into, which is another cool handy tip. But so let's put 8 of these into every single tool of ours. Now finally, as you can see here, we have got all our energy tablets installed onto all of our armor pieces as well as our Meka-Tool. If we hold down shift, you can see all the different units that are actually installed into our items, this being 8 out of 8 energy units, and these can now hold 1.63 GFE per tick. That's how much it can hold in total. Now all that means is essentially we have more durability inside of our armor, not that we can, you know, withstand more damage. So there is still a chance that we can get one shot, but obviously we have the defense of a netherite armor. Next we have is the radiation shielding unit. This can go in everything except from the Meka-Tool, because it's all about protecting you from radiation when you're using something like the fission reactor, now which we've showed before. So to make this, you're going to need obviously the modular base. You're going to need 4 infused alloys, 3 HDPE sheets, and 1 lead block, and you will only get 1 of these. Now these don't stack, they're only stackable to amount of 1, so that means we can only put 1 of these per item in our suit. So let's install those next. The exact same way, you put your item in and then you install. Very easy stuff, and it tells you what we have here. As you can see, installed radiation shielding units 1 of 1. Now we've got that installed, we no longer actually need to use the radiation suit when going near your fission reactor, or if there's any nuclear waste that is spilled into the environment, which is very handy. But next, let's go on to what you can install on the helmet itself. Only the helmet. As you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things that we can get. Some of them are easier to get than others, but let's just go in a random order. First, we have the nutrition injection unit. This is going to require a canteen. The canteen's made very simply. It's just using 4 tin and a bowl. It doesn't have to be full or anything. 1 modular base, 3 polonium pellets, and 4 reinforced alloys. Now, this nutrition injection unit, you only get 1 of when you craft it, and what it's going to do is exactly what it says on the tin. It's going to allow you to no longer really need to worry about food. It's going to automatically fill you up with your hunger bar required, as you can see here. Now, you only get 1 of these, obviously, at a time, but this is now just going to automatically feed you, and you don't have to worry about eating ever again. Now, in order to get the nutritional injection unit to actually work, you must first fill the helmet with some nutritional paste. As you can see here, I've got 400 millibuckets. Now, the nutritional paste is going to need a brand new machine, and that is the nutritional liquefier. Nutritional liquefier is crafted very simply with just 2 basic control circuits and 4 redstone dust, a steel casing, and 2 bowls. Now, inside of here, you can now take any food that you want. I'm going to be using steak here, and this will turn it into nutritional paste. Now, you can actually fill up these canteens, which we have showed off before, and then using the canteens you can eat whatever you want with it. Now, to get it work with your helmets, however, you're going to need to take your helmet now with the nutritional units, and with this filling up with paste, you now put your helmet inside of here as well, and it will start filling up with all the paste that you require. Now, this can hold quite a lot, but then afterwards, once you have it filled a little bit, you can put it on your headpiece, and then you'll see down in the bottom right here we have a little meter. Our food is now 1% full, so it takes a long time for it to fill, but it's going to last you quite a long time. Next, we're going to show you the vision enhancement units. This is going to require 3 polonium, 4 reinforced circuits, 1 emerald, and 1 modular base unit, and this will give you just 1 of these in total. Now, this is going to give you 4 different ones that you can put in, and obviously this goes straight into the helmet. So if we put the helmet in here and we put 1 in, you can probably guess what this is actually going to do. It's going to allow you to have night vision essentially. So let's put all 4 in here in total and see how it does. There you go, we have the vision enhancement units installed. We've got 4 of. We put this in here, and as we can see that it's in the bottom right there, we actually have a little bit of a glowing thing here. Let's put it against the obsidian. That says off. Now, this is the perfect time to show you how you actually modify these units. Now, by default, if you press the hash key, this is going to bring up the modular tweaker menu. This, you can see all of your different things. You can click on any single one thing that you're holding or anything in your taskbar, in case you want to use the Mekanism tool, of course. Now, in the helmet, we can see that we have got the nutritional units. In here, you can actually, if I do Control 0, you can see that down in the corner here we have our stuff. If we want to just disable the use of the nutritional units, we can just say off, and it completely gets rid of it. Or if we want to keep it enabled but we don't want to see it, we can just hide it. Well, I don't know why you would do that, but as well as that, you can also do the radiation shielding, turn it off or on. The module units should just give you a status of how many you have, but then we have the vision enhancement units. Now here we can see that it's actually off now. We can turn that on, and the world gets a little bit more night vision-y. Obviously, it's the middle of the day right now, so it's going to be a little bit different, but if we do game rule night, sorry, not that, you can see that things are a little bit more visible here. So if we press the hash key, go to this, and then do false, we can see that it gets dark again. Now, it gets a little bit tedious having to go inside of here every single time to turn this either on or off. But what you can do is with the headpiece, you can do V by default, and this will actually turn all your abilities on or off, basically. So as you can see, the perk and tools abilities are now disabled, which means our nutrition doesn't work anymore. But the vision enhancement does work. That's why it's a little bit annoying. You sort of have to do the opposite. So if we go into our little thing here and say this to true, and then do V, we can see that they both disable and they both enable. It's a little bit finicky, but that's exactly how it works. Now, the last thing we have here is if we go into here, we have the handle mode key. That is essentially going to disable the use of V. So if we click V here, obviously at the moment it's true and it works. If we now go into our tweaker and then say false, if we press V now, it will only just do our eating and drinking module. It won't actually do the vision thing there. But we want that on, of course. And then we'll keep this to true, and then we'll turn it off. Next up, we have the solar recharging unit. This is going to require 1 advanced solar power, 4 reinforced control circuits, 3 polonium pellets, and obviously our modular base. Now this, you can probably guess what this does as well. It's going to allow us to charge our MekaSuit and MekaTools while using the power of the sun. So I believe this can only be installed on the helmet since that's going to be at the top of you. So let's install some of these. We can get 8 in total for this as well. So now in our helmet you can see that we have solar recharging unit. We have 8 out of 8. If we go into our modular tweaker again, you can see that you can just disable this or enable this. And I believe this also works with V, as you can see, because it's all perks and abilities. That's how this works. Next up, with the electrolytic breathing unit, this is going to require 4 of your infused alloys, 3 HDPE sheets, 1 modular base and 1 electrolytic core, and this is going to give you just obviously one of these when you craft it, and as well as this is obviously you can breathe with this when you're underwater, and these only stack to 4 as well, so let's put these in our helmet too. Now going into survival mode, if we jump into some water here, as you can see our bubbles are going to go down as normal, but the moment that we put this helmet on, we instantly get all our breathing back. Now this is going to be using power of course, but we have so much power that it's pretty much negligible. We're going to be able to breathe a very long time, but I do not believe this actually increases how fast we actually mine anything. It's purely only for breathing. Now this last one is very powerful. This is the inhale breathing purification units, I believe. Let's have a look. Inhalation purification units. This is going to require 1 module base, 4 reinforced circuits, 2 polonium pellets, a scuba helmet, as well as a radiation helmet. Now when you stack these, you only get 1, as you can see here, and this goes on the helmet. Now what this does is going to be very powerful. What you can do is essentially set your inhalation suit mask thingamabob now to only intake certain sort of chemicals, which means that you can negate certain potions if you so desire. So if we look in the inhalation here, you see remove beneficials. That was gonna basically turn, if you don't want anything that helps you in any way, so say you throw down a splash potion of healing or something, you can actually tell this, yeah, I don't want that, I do not want to be healed. So you probably want that removed. You want all the you know, the helpful things. And then you have remove neutral stuff. If nothing really happens to you, I believe the neutral stuff is more sort of off the top of my head, I can't actually think of any sort of neutral effects that are in the game. I don't know what that would be classed as. I know harmful would obviously be if anything is like someone fires or throws a potion of harming against you, then obviously that won't affect you. But I don't know what the neutral ones be. The neutral ones might be things like fast mining and stuff, but I would class them as more of a positive. So I may have to look up what removing neutral actually is. Looking quickly online at the wiki, I can see that in Minecraft there are only about 3 neutral things, that is glowing, levitation and invisibility. So if you wanted to, you could just turn off the use of basically invisibility, glowing or levitating, which is a bit strange. I've never really noticed that before, but there you go. And that is everything when it comes to the helmet. Now next we're going to be moving on to the chest pieces. The first one being the jetpack unit. This is going to require 3 polonium pellets, 3 reinforced alloys, 1 jetpack and 1 modular base. I've just realised that I've been calling these reinforced circuits. They are all reinforced alloys, my apologies. Now, the jetpack unit, I believe you can only get 1 of per. That's exactly where it is. Pretty much whatever is stackable, that is how much you can actually put into it. Now, this is going to be exactly what it says on the tin. It's now going to give you a jetpack unit. Now, the jetpack unit won't work by itself. As you can see that we don't really have 0 fuel. We have 0 fuel, rather. Now, this works the exact same way as with the nutrition injection unit. You are going to need to input hydrogen into your pack here. Now, since we're in the creative, I am just going to put ourselves in here just a hydrogen tank, and we're going to put ourselves our MekaSuit into here, and you can see it's going to start filling up with hydrogen. You can store quite a lot in total. 48,000 millibuckets, basically 48 buckets of nitrogen in total. Now, this works the exact same way as everything else. We go into survival here, and now I click this on. As you can see that we have our modes here. Now, I believe we have many different modes. Now, this is actually going to be a different key when we are using the helmet. The helmet is obviously V, but for the chest piece, it's actually G. But G also opens up another menu here in this mod pack, which makes it a little bit annoying. Let's switch that over. Now you can see we have different things. We have disabled, we have got regular, which is obviously just up and down, and then you have hover mode, which means you can stay, you can go up, then you can hold shift to go down. Hover mode is the best, but we've shown this off before. Next we have the dosimeter unit. This is going to require 4 of your atomic alloys, infused alloys, sorry, 3 HDPE pellets, 1 modular base, and a dosimeter. Now, the dosimeter is something we haven't looked at before, but it requires 4 lead ingots and 1 redstone dust. Now, the dosimeter, all it does is it actually detects how much radiation is actually in the area. At the moment, as you can see, we've got 99.999 NSV, which basically means that we are in a safe environment right now. And all that this now does with the dosimeter is essentially it puts it built into your pack here. I've gone very far away from everything now, and as you can see here, if I break this barrel, we're going to get radiation inside of the area. As you can see, it gets very bad. Now that radiation is everywhere, if I take this off and then put it back on, as you can see, I am now a lot worse. I have taken some radiation and my SV level is very bad. Luckily I'm peaceful, so I will be okay. But as you can see, things are very bad and I've taken severe radiation damage. Next we have is the charge distribution unit. This is going to require 4 reinforced alloys, 3 polonium pellets, 1 modular base, and an induction provider, a basic induction provider. This is going to give us the charge distribution unit. Now if we put our charge distribution unit into our body armor here, you can see that obviously it installs, we only get 1 of, and then inside of here we can turn it off or on, same as with anything else. But this can also do your inventory. Now something that this does, it's similar to how when you take damage it distributes your damage everywhere, but what this does is, say you had a fully charged armor piece here. How about we just do it this, for example, if I take our shoes away and then put some dead shoes away and we put this on, it will actually start charging and distributing the energy. It has taken some of the energy out of the other 3 pieces and put it into our boots, meaning that it's a little bit better than just using the MekaSuit helmet, because it sort of charges everything evenly and nicely, as you can see in here. But we have everything fully charged, of course. But now, because it says you can do the inventory, what it means is that it can charge anything in the inventory that has this as well, meaning your Meka-Tool. I don't know if it actually does it for any other items that require charging. Obviously it would do it for mechanism stuff like the electric bow, which is pretty cool, or the atomic disassembler, but I don't know if it does it for anything electrical with other mods. Now the last thing that we can make for the chest piece is the gravitational modulating unit. This is going to require 1 modular base, 2 ultimate induction providers, 3 antimatter pellets, which we haven't shown yet but we will in the next episode, 2 atomic alloys, and a nether star. Now this thing is very powerful. You're going to get 1 of, of course, but if we just read the tooltip here, it says using experimental technologies and the tremendous energy of antimatter allow the user to defy gravity. Very powerful stuff here. So let's install this into our chest piece and see how it works. Now we have this installed, as you can see you have it here. Let's see what it actually does. Now we're in survival mode here. If we go into our tweaker, we can see in here, let's go to chest piece and look at our module. We can see that we have a few different things. We have basically enable or not. We can have it completely disabled, in which case we will be able to use our jetpack. But then we have our handling key, which we know is G. We want that enabled. We have it on the HUD or not, which is this little symbol here. This is the gravitational thing. And then we have our speed boost. So we can either have no speed boost or we can have a 0.5 speed boost in total. Now, what does this mean? We currently have this on. If I say G, it's actually disabled. And you see nothing happens. We're not running very fast or anything. But if we hit G and have it on, this actually gives us creative flight. As you can hear, there's a little bit of a noise behind. In fact, I have turned it down. There we go. You can hear that there's a little bit of a noise. This means that you are actually defying gravity right now. You have creative flight. It's basically 1 up from the jetpack. It's what you're fighting for. You won't really need both of them on at the same time, so you can probably remove it. But this does suck out energy. Now, we have so much energy inside this MekaSuit that you can't really see what it's doing, but as you can see, we have no gas stored inside of this body armor, which means we are definitely not using the jetpack, despite the jetpack units being installed, as you can see there. It's very powerful stuff, very late game, and obviously requires a nether star and antimatter. Moving on to legs now. Now, there's actually only 1 single thing that can be put onto the legs by itself, and this is the locomotive boosting unit. This is going to require some diamond leggings, 2 energy tablets, a modular base, 2 reinforced alloys, and 3 polonium pellets. Now this thing, you can probably guess what it does. It's all about giving you speed. Now these stack in 4s, which means that you can put this on 4 different times, and let's see what it does here. That's now all installed. If we go our modular tweaker, go to our boots, we can see that we have our booster here. Now we can see the same as when you're flying, you can do however much boost you want. We're going to put this all the way up to 0.5 of the boost. It's not that much, but it is something. Now you also have the handle key here. Now just as the helmet and the chest piece have different, there is another control for the leggings. So if we go down here to mechanism, we can see that the legs here is J to switch it on and off. But as you can see, just at at 0.5, you are very, very quick now. And if we hit J, it turns it off, turns the speed boost off. But then we hit J again, we can go up, and you can keep tweaking it slower. So you can just put it to any different point that you want. If you don't want to be full flat out pace all the time, maybe you're building something and you want something a little bit slower, but still want to be able to get around a little bit quickly, you can maybe put it just onto 0.1 or something, or 0.2, or all the way up to the fastest. As you can see, this is only in effect when running. It's not for anything else. And it helps you out when you're doing a little bit of the jumping as well, the jump running. You go very, very far, very quickly, like this. Also, sorry if you have motion sickness. I do prefer view bobbing. Now, next up and lastly for the suit, we have the feet. Now, first we can get is the magnetic attraction unit. This is going to require 1 iron bar, 2 reinforced alloys, 2 elite control circuits, 1 modular base, and 3 polonium pellets. As you can probably tell, we're going to need a lot of polonium pellets. Now, the speed here that I'm getting while flying, that's also from the gravitational thing, not just being in creative mode here. So let's get our boots here. Now, we can put on 4 of these in total as well to get all ourselves different strengths. And let's see what this is going to give us. Right, equipping these now. Inside the modular tweaker here, we go down to feet, we go down to our magnification. You can see how much of a range. Now, I believe these is by blocks. We can just have 1 block, and it's not by chunks. Imagine that, 10 chunks away. So if we go all the way up to 10, and let's try and throw something on the ground. Let's throw something over here. As you can see, we get an electrical spark, and it starts cutting us. There's a little bit of a delay, but it does work, and we can sort of outpace it as well with the flying. But as usual, inside of here, we can turn this off with the handling key, which for the boots, it's again another different control. And for the feet, it's actually B if you don't want it on. So there's many different controls here. We've got V for the head, we've got G for the body armor, then we've got B for the feet, and we have got J for the legs. It's very, very confusing to remember all these, so you can actually change them in the config if you wanted in the controls to have them all being on the same button, but that might end up being a little bit mental. Now, the last thing we have is the hydraulic propulsion unit. This is going to require your free runners, 2 reinforced alloys, 2 energy tablets, 3 polonium pellets, and 1 modular base. You want to get one of these per craft, and you can probably guess what this is all about. This is going to be for jumping. You get 4 of them at a time, but this is going to allow you to jump very, very high. I feel like this should be on the legs instead of the feet, but oh well, we'll have it on the feet. That is all now installed. Let's put that inside here. Have a look at our modular tweaker again, and the hydraulic propulsion unit. You can see how much you want to have it jumped, or if you want step assist. So at the moment it's at 0.5. Does this mean we can go up 2 blocks? No, it doesn't. But I think it probably means we can go over fences. Let's have a look here. Didn't work. Let's go for a little bit more then. Hydraulic propulsion unit. Let's put it to 1. 1 block means we can now go over fences. And we can go over 1 block. It must mean just half slabs, which is a bit strange. It's sort of the default, but oh well. We can go over 1 block now, which is fences and stuff like this. But then we can put it even up to 2, I believe it saw. Yeah, we can put it up to 2, which means we could step assist up 2 blocks, which is a little bit mental to me, a little bit strange, but it's not any more than that. And as well as that, we obviously have our jump boost. So we could jump all the way up to 5 blocks if we wanted to, I believe. But we have to be in survival mode. Now, for people who played the game back in the day, you may run by using double tapping W. This is how I got confused why I was thinking jump boost wasn't work. It doesn't just involve you pressing the spacebar. Same way as with your running, you press control to start the running. Control works with your jumping. So if you hold down control and jump, you can see that we have nothing here. But then if we put this all the way up to the hydraulic propulsion moving up to 5, hold down control, then press the spacebar, we can jump very, very high. It's a lot more than just 5 blocks, but we're in survival mode, and look, we don't take any fall damage. It's absolutely insane. But so we can run, we can hold down control, we can jump, and absolutely launch ourselves incredible differences. It's pretty impressive when you use everything in tandem. You can obviously disable this. We can see that if we turn off everything, we have to turn everything off manually, as you can see, because there isn't a button for this. But if we hold down control and now jump, it doesn't work, but our running still does, as you can see. Now lastly, let's move on to the Mecha tools. For this, we're first going to have the farming units. This is going to require 4 infused alloys, 3 HDPE sheets, 1 modular base, and an iron hoe. It's going to give us our farming unit, which we can have 4 different ones in total. So let's put our Mecha unit in here and put on our farming module. Now that we have this installed, let's have a look inside of our tweaker. If we take our Meka-Tool, go to farming unit, we can set a radius of what we want to set our farmland to be. Let's just keep this on 7 for now. As you can see also inside is that we do not actually have a way of turning this off or on. It's just either on or off all the time. Now if we look at the ground and then we right click, we can see that we've changed everything to a path in a 7x7 block. But if we want it to be farmland, we just have to hit it again and it will change into farmland. As you can see here, we haven't got any water, so obviously it's just turning back into that. But if we do the path over here and then set this over here, you can see that it actually does do the range of the 7. See, it actually changed the grass straight into the farmland because we clicked on a path block. It's a bit strange how this works, but that is how it works. If we did it straight on dirt, it would be slightly different, I imagine. Let's have a look here. So just for argument's sake, if we do it straight on dirt, it will change it straight into farmland. It's only when you do it on grass, it will do the path first. Then from the path, it can do the dirt, as you can see here, or the farmland. Next up, we have the tank amplification unit. This is going to require 1 modular base, 4 infused alloys, 3 HDPE sheets, and 1 iron sword. Now this attack amplification unit does exactly what it says in the tin. Also, this has a stack of 4 too. It increases the damage output on mobs, because this is also a weapon, which I forgot to mention earlier. Now looking inside the tweaker here, we've got our attack amplifier. We have this on. We also have a little thing on the HUD. Whereabouts is it on the HUD? I think we've actually got too many spaces. Oh, there we go. In the bottom left, you can see it says damaged 8 right down here. That's how much damage we're going to do to a mob at this current time. But if we go into here, we can actually set this all the way up to 32. Do 32 damage to a mob at a time. Now I'm not going to demonstrate this because I think you get the idea. Next up, we have the excavation acceleration unit. Very, very hard word to say. This is going to require 1 modular base, 4 infused alloys, 3 HDPE sheets, and 1 iron pickaxe. Now, this is going to work the exact same. It's going to be like a bit of a speed boost when it comes to the Meka-Tool, but I believe this can have up to 4 different items in it, of course, and this may even give us a bit of a vein miner, but let's find out. So if we go into our options here, we see the units we have here are handle keys, so we can turn this on or off, and then we have efficiency. So it's not going to give us a vein miner, but it is going to tell us how much it can mine a block in a single tick. So it's on 16 by default here. How does that work when it comes to the blocks here? That's pretty fast, actually, pretty fast, not bad. How about when we actually change this all the way up to the 128 different ones? Is it insta-mined? Doesn't really feel like it, but that could be because I am in creative mode. We're in survival mode now, and it is literally just insta-mine. Even on Obsidian, it's pretty quick now. This is absolutely just insta-mine. We can destroy everything with this now. Next up, we have the Silk Touch units. This is going to require 1 refined glowstone block. It's going to require 2 reinforced alloys, a diamond pickaxe, 2 diamond pickaxes at that, 1 modular base, and 3 polonium pellets. Now, I believe you can only get 1 of these at a time, but this is also going to do exactly what it says on the tin and give you the ability to actually use Silk Touch on your Meka-Tool. That's now installed. Let's go into our tweaker and have a little look here. If we take our Silk Touch unit, it's either on or off. Simple as that. So if we now wanted a bit of dirt, we can absolutely do that. But obviously we are in creative mode, but in survival, we can now pick up grass. Now, we were wondering about vein mine earlier. This is because you need the vein mining unit. The vein mining unit is created with a diamond shovel, a diamond axe, a diamond pickaxe, 2 reinforced alloys, a modular base, and 3 polonium pellets. Now, I believe you can only put... Oh, you can actually put 4 of these on, which is pretty cool. Now, this is obviously going to give us vein miner. The more you have on, the further away you can actually mine the veins. Right then, that's all installed. Let's get ourselves our vein miner here, and as you can see, we can enable it or disable it. We can turn it off or on. At the moment, it's disabled for some reason. We have that. Extended mode is what is disabled or enabled. So the extension range is, I assume, this, what we have here, this slider. So we can set this all the way up to 8 blocks. How about we give this a go? If I now click this into survival mode, vein miner works very powerfully. It looks like it works in 128 radius of you instead of everything else. So we could mine 4 days forever. Sort of gets rid of the point of having the efficiency module on. Now, the last thing we need to get is the teleportation unit. The teleportation unit is being made with 4 atomic alloys, 1 teleportation core, a modular base, and 3 antimatter pellets. Now, these you only get 1 of in your tool, but I believe this is going to allow us to teleport. Now, looking inside our Meka-Tool here, we have our teleportation unit, and it's basically just true or false. Now, the teleportation unit doesn't allow you to actually teleport to any portals you have in the map, but if you hold down shift and then right click, on the floor, you got to face it, actually click on the actual floor. You can't just do it in the sky. You will actually start teleporting a little bit like an Enderman. So it's not the most amazing thing in the world. It's still quite powerful. You could travel very far if need be, and quite quickly, but this will just drain your energy. But we didn't use too much there, which is pretty good. Now, unfortunately, guys, that is everything I can show you when it comes to the laser matrix, the MekaSuit, and the Meka-Tool. We've gone through all the upgrades, but don't worry, I will show you how to create the antimatter in the next tutorial. So, if this video helps you out in any way, shape, or form, please do not forget to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out. And ring the bell button for the next tutorial and stay informed when that happens. But until next time, guys, take care.